of the Zoom Racing League Division 2. We're here at COTA, Circuit of the Americas. First North American track on the schedule. Same weekend as the actual American Grand Prix, so let's see how it goes. Revis, why don't you tell us something about some favorite drivers?
So we've got a lot of new drivers that some of you noticed. Shadow MX was here last week in Division 2 filling in. He has been promoted to a full-time seat there in the Alfa Romeo. Got a couple of newbies there with Odan and Luis, really quick Brazilian drivers. Really glad to have them here along with us and see what they can do. Haven't seen a lot of them on track, but all the telemetry and data says they're going to be super quick and going to really set the pace for the rest of the field.
All right, so Revis, you went ahead and you've already done your race this week with Division 3. Anything special about this track? Anything you feel like it should be pointed out, or?
So it's a little late to help the drivers on track now, but tire deg's a big deal, and especially through the S's in Sector 1, you're going to find if you have your tire pressure too high, they're going to overheat really quick, and that will catch up to you in the second and third sectors. And tire wear, you've got to be very careful because the wrong setup, you're going to wear out your fronts. Although we did see a few people wearing out their rear tires, the fronts can be a problem if you don't have a really good balance setup. Two-stopper is the good strategy. A set of softs can go about 12 laps if you're on a really low fuel load, but man, they will be screaming by the end and you'll be losing a lot of time.
So was there anything like soft, medium, medium?
Soft, medium seems to be good. We had a few hard runners last night in the Division 3 race. They seem to feel okay on the car, but for the most part in this game, it's just not the strategy.
Yeah, I can imagine the hards would be kind of killer through the S's at the beginning of the lap here. Still haven't had a driver come out of the pits yet. We're about a minute into qualifying, so I don't really know what's going on with that, if nobody saved a setup or what.
Maybe wondering to see who's going to come out first.
Yeah, normally we see
that way.
A race out of the pits at the beginning here, just trying to get some free track, a little bit of clear air to work with. Set that banker time in, but so far haven't gotten anybody.
Getting a message now that Odan has been banned from the session. I'm not sure what happened there.
That is very strange. Got Odan still in the driver list, but
very interesting. We've got now I'm also hearing Thrax.
Oh, instead they got Cole and Thrax stuck in the loading screen. So that's why we haven't gotten anybody out of the pits yet. We're the only ones in the game so far.
Fantastic. Okay, so with that, we will go ahead and quit to the main menu and remake the lobby.
Right. Let's redo this.
It's time for Ethan Patel to show up.
And F1 2021 Codemasters at it again. And so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and restart the lobby here and give us a quick intermission. We'll be back. All right, and we're back. Hopefully all the drivers are in now and everything's going to work perfectly, just as Codemasters intended. Okay, so still got everybody in the pits, but it's only been a few seconds so far.
So no reports so far from the paddock, but we're hoping that everything is going to run smoothly now and we'll get some action here on the track. So just to recap what we had talked about, we got a few new drivers folks hadn't seen before, or maybe hadn't seen necessarily in Division 2, with Shadow MX, Odan, and Luis, both, or all three of those really quick drivers. Shadow from Mexico, the other two Brazilian drivers. We talked about tire strategy, probably going to be a two-stopper. Softs will last about 12 laps on light fuel. Not much more than that. They're going to be screaming. Tires get really hot through the S's in Sector 1. And if it goes anything like the Division 3 race did, there's going to be a lot of action, a lot of really close battles because it is difficult to overtake. You have the two long straights, make for good overtaking opportunities, but the more technical, twisty parts of the circuit kind of slow you down. And looks like we have at least 3 cars pulling out of the pits now.
All right,
so
hopping on board with let's hop on board with the Alfa Romeo. Who is that? That Thrax is not. Shadow MX is the first one out of the pit lane here. And he's opted for the medium tires to start off with here, to set his banker lap with. Kind of a strange choice to go on the medium tires before the track's even rubbered in yet.
Yeah, I don't necessarily understand it, but if you're thinking that there's not going to be any safety cars and you're going to have to go long, medium, soft, soft can work.
Yeah.
You would prefer to use the soft tires when you're lighter on fuel, try to make them stretch a little longer.
Yeah, not against the medium tire strategy itself. It's more of you want to wait for the track to rubber in to send the mediums. That way you have the best chance to land a good position. Because right now he's just going to be burning his only set of mediums.
So either foolhardy or very confident from the Mexican driver. And I'm thinking he's leaning towards confidence right now.
Probably. Let's see here. Let's get a good pod view here of Shadow MX. Is about to start his flying lap coming into the third sector here. It's going to be our first one to go. Got an Aston Martin real close behind him. So the Aston Martin is going to get the toe off the Alfa Romeo down the first straightaway at least.
The Aston Martin of Odan, another quick driver, our young Brazilian who's just recently joined. So a little bit of strategy call there from him, you would think.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like he's actually giving him a little bit of space here. I'm not sure if Odan's going to be able to round the corner in time to get that toe off. And yeah, it's not looking like he's going to be able to, as Shadow MX is already flying down the straight as Odan gets up to speed. So yeah, Odan, all the way to the right here, take as much of the curb as he can, make the track as wide as possible. A nice smooth exit out of turn 1. And here comes the hardest part of the track. It's the S's here. Hard to maintain speed through there. As he keeps it gunned down, pushes it down to 7th gear just to maintain a little bit of traction. Almost loses it there. Has to shift down to 6th gear. But he stays on track, stays valid. And Shadow MX is going to keep going on, so far, a pretty good lap.
Yeah, as long as you can keep it nice and tight through there. You have to balance your car out. You have 3 different sectors. You got to think, do I want to be fast on the straight? Do I want to be planted through the S's? Or do I want to be stable through Sector 3 through the more technical section? So you've got to forfeit somewhere, and you have to.
So Shadow MX coming up on a couple cars here. Hopefully they don't slow him down at all. Has one car a little bit ahead of him. Hopefully there's no dirty air going to be involved here, as I can't tell who that was. I think it was from the Alpha Tauris. Does get out of the way. And Odan sets the fastest Sector 1. And then Sector 2 is going to go to Shadow MX. So it looks like they're staying pretty close to each other, as Shadow MX has a little bit of wheel spin there. Not able to keep the traction on the medium tires. Track's not rubbered in yet, so a little early for this call maybe, but Shadow MX is going to be the first one to set our lap here. And he's going to set the standard with a 1:33.1. That's a pretty good lap.
It's a really nice first lap. A good banker, nice and clean and even.
And it looks like Odan invalidated.
It's like the Drip Israel has gone fastest in Sector 1 now with the 25.2. So he's quick through the first sector. We'll see if that carries on through the lap.
I think BuzzGod just took that. Never mind, I take it all back.
Our next driver across the line looks like it would be Luis.
Pylon with the new fastest lap of the qualifying session so far. Luis setting the second fastest lap, also on the medium tires.
Mr. Robot being disqualified. Looks like he had a little spin and drove the wrong way for too long.
Yeah, probably just trying to stay out of the way, and if you're facing the wrong way for too long, that's going to send you to the back of the grid. That's just the way the game works. He might not have done anything necessarily wrong there, but not much we can do about that.
Ranger goes third fastest on the soft tires. So right now our times are soft, medium, soft, medium.
Got Brian Hackeman about to finish up his flying lap here. Coming onto the third sector. He's almost loses it. Has a bit of a spin here. Can he keep out of the wall?
Oh, I'm broke his
doesn't quite keep out of the wall, but at least he stays in the session. Was able to slow down enough so his car wouldn't break.
Breaking that little bit of right end plate will make the car real funny to drive. But luckily he's right by the pits. He can pull right in and go again.
Yeah. Maybe just not enough rear downforce there for Brian Hackeman, or the rear tires were too hot, not too sure, but he did lose the rear end pretty good there. So I'm going to hop on board. Let's hop on board with Ethan Patel. No, Ethan Patel's not out yet.
Got a Mercedes about to set a time here. Is that Snoop Francis? That'd be Connor trying to make a second run here.
Yeah, I got Snoop Francis coming in. He's about 2 seconds up on his time, so looks like he's on the out lap or coming back into the pits. Not too sure. Got Raptor on a cool down lap here. So he's going to be looking to come back in. And the Drip Israel. The fastest third sector so far, but did invalidate, it looks like, so not able to set that time. As Razor also invalidates his lap.
Hey, Connor's out. Connor's out of the session.
Oh, I didn't see what happened to Connor.
Yeah, it looks like he went off just after the S's.
Oh, okay.
Connor is out. However, he already set a 7th fastest, so if he stays there, he'll be starting on those medium tires. Not maybe where he wanted to be, but 7th fastest. If you stay there, you're fine. You're happy. But there's still a lot of good drivers yet to come. Still, Odan has to set a time. Thrax, Ethan Patel, Brian.
A lot of qualifying session left, yeah. And definitely gonna probably see 1 or 2 drivers in the 131.1s. It's definitely attainable.
So Odan in the Division 3 race last night set a 131, and was really quick. Just had a little incident in the first lap. And those curbs will eat you up through the S's if you're not careful, especially if your tires aren't quite ready.
Fortunate. All right, we got Drip Israel starting his flying lap here. Or no, it's his cooldown lap. Drip Israel goes 10th fastest with a 1:34.6. Not the best lap from him. He can definitely do a bit better. I'm gonna hop on board with Odan here, who looks like he's on his fast lap through the S's here. Almost loses the rear end on the curb there. Curbs are definitely real slippery in this game. And looks like he's aborted this lap. Went ahead and turned the ERS off after that.
Validated, so it's unfortunate for him. So almost halfway point of the qualifying session. Now it's time to really get it locked in, get figured out what you're going to do. Can't really afford to keep invalidating like that if you want to start near the front of the field.
Yeah, about halfway through the session now, and Odan yet to set a lap yet. Same with Buzzgod, Brian Hackeman, Ethan Patel, Thrax, Razor, and Josh Barnsley all haven't set a lap time yet. Josh Barnsley was our Ferrari driver that hit the wall earlier, so not too sure. Or no, that was Brian Hackeman who hit the wall.
That was Brian.
Apologize. Yeah.
Josh still in the pits, 0 lap old soft. So I wonder what's going on there if he just isn't.
Might be waiting for the track to evolve a little bit more to go out there. As we got Brian Hackeman on his fast lap trying to stay out of the barriers this time.
Got Thrax around in sector 1. Not sure what happened there. He had a little bit of a moment where he stopped on track. So he goes through the S's. Looked very close to invalidating on a couple of those, but still has it going right now.
S's are a little bit forgiving with the track limits. You can actually go on the curbs there, so.
The Cooler Peter goes fastest in sector 1 at a 24.9.
Cooler Peter currently, I have him in the pits. Are we desynced there? Or?
Possibly a timing glitch.
Okay. Oh, man. So Brian Hackeman rounding the last corner here to set his first time of the session. And Brian Hackeman goes P12.
I'll just get a time on the board at this point.
Yeah.
The main thing. So we got Pelon, Ranger, Luis, Shadow MX, Razor, Raptor, Ethan Patel, Zebra Strike, top 8 right now. Connor out of the session, Thrax and P10. So we got a couple people who want to make up some work right here.
I'm going to hop on board with Odan here, who has yet to set his time either, but looks like he's about to finish up his flying lap, going into Sector 3, taking this fast right-hander, almost perfect. You want to ride that curve, make the track as short as possible. As he comes into the final turn, hits both curbs, gets all the traction he can, and Odan goes fastest with a 1:31.7. Now that's a killer lap.
8/10 faster than Pelon, so that's everyone's target now.
Odan, far and away the fastest driver, as I see what looked like a Williams go off of turn 1. That Zebra Strike? No. I couldn't tell who that was. I think it was the Cooler Peter. Might have been the Alpine.
Yeah, I'm definitely having timing issues right now because my screen's showing the Cooler Peter in P1 with a 31.75.
Oh, dang.
That is definitely Odan.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to leave the game and try to come back, see if it like sorts itself out.
It's just on the telemetry screen, So
Oh, I
just
gotcha.
missed the game for now.
I got you. Okay. Yeah, I also have the Cooler Peter as fastest on telemetry, so I'm not too sure what's going on with that. Pylon looks like he's about to try and start his flying lap, try and catch up to Odan here. Pylon currently about 3/10 up off a Ranger, which is a pretty good gap from P2 to P3, but he's also 8/10 down from Odan as Raptor takes the P2 spot by about 100th of a second, a little bit more. Raptor definitely a fast driver, a staple of the series so far, always a threat to be on the podium.
So Shadow MX is starting another run on softs now. He set his time earlier on the mediums and appears to be flying through the S's at this point.
Let's hop on board with him. So we got
And has
Shadow.
just been validated.
Ah. So yeah, he's slowing down a bit here. Probably gonna turn off the ERS when he can and go at it one more time. Yeah, he's turned off the ERS, so she's gonna build that battery back up, burn some fuel, and get ready to go out for another flying lap. Got plenty of clear track ahead of him though, as long as nobody comes out of the pits in front of him.
Looks like Ranger's done 4 laps on those softs. Don't know that you want to do much more than that, 'cause you want to save those as a reserve. Safety cars can't come out in a hurry, as we learned last night.
I've got Ranger in the pits. Oh, he just put on a new set of soft tires. Okay, yeah. So Ranger gonna have to set a faster lap if he wants to stay out during this race any amount of time. And looks like Raptor invalidated his time as well.
I'm sure he's happy with where he's at, but just doing a little protection work.
Yeah. So yeah, Raptor coming back into the pits now. We got Pylon on what looks to be another fast lap here. He invalidated the last one. He's coming around turn 1 here. All right, let's see what Pylon can do. Has his DRS on, and he goes faster than Raptor with a 132.4.
Really nice work from the Canadian.
Yeah. So Raptor and Pylon trading out places here. Both want to start in the front row. And honestly, as we saw earlier today, starting P2 is a little bit better than starting P1 on this track. It's kind of like Baku.
Azerbaijan.
Where you have the inside line as P2. And it's really easy just to take that inside line into the first corner and take that position.
And just full send and push the pole sitter out wide and just run away.
Which is a valid move. I'm sure whoever's in pole sitter, in this case it'd be Odan, wouldn't be very happy about it, but it's definitely something that's available to you.
That's racing. Looks like we got Razor getting ready to start a flyer, Pilon's teammate. The two of them seems like we see them out there working and training just almost nonstop. They seem to always be on, working together. Great communication, great teamwork.
Yeah, Razor definitely a threat. Multiple podiums last season in D2, so definitely a threat out here.
Had an unfortunate end to events in Austria last week. Got hit right as the safety car came out. Really disappointing into his race.
Razor taking the S is almost perfect, managing a lot of speed. Slides a little bit there, maybe not enough rear downforce for the car, but able to keep the speed going as he drops it down to 4th just to accelerate up to here.
Drip has gone out of just after turn 1. Drip
yeah.
Israel out of the race, or out of qualifying.
Yeah, so Drip Israel crashes out. He's going to be stuck. Best he can get is P17, and that's if Cole Cummings, the former D1 driver, doesn't take that position from him as he's on his out lap for the mediums. And Daman Man also able to take that position, the Revis Academy driver.
So Razor's up 3/10 through Sector 2, so going into Sector 3, it looks like he will improve his time.
Yeah.
And that
this could put Razor in the top 5.
The very, very satisfying result for the Brazilian.
Yeah, Razor currently, if he can keep up on the pace, he will be P4, it looks like. Let's see what he gets here.
No track limits. Nice and
Yeah,
easy. Down
this
to
corner's an
third gear.
easy place to lose time if you end up sliding, but Razor takes it perfect, and Razor goes P2.
E2, that's exciting. So we
Yeah,
got a
so-
McLaren Q3 sitting right now.
Yeah, the McLaren showing out here as Razor slows down on the front straightaway in front of the Alfa Romeo of Shadow MX. I'm not sure. And it looks like he might actually hold up the Alpine here. It looks like the Alpine's on a cooldown lap, so no harm, no foul. Take that back. That was the Williams of Ranger.
So Cole Cummins starting his flying lap, headed up to turn 1. Real hard on the brakes. Early apex, earlier than you think it's going to be.
Yeah, Cole Cummins keeping it on the track there. A little bit of a slow exit, though. Probably lost about a tenth that he could have gained there by just getting on the throttle a little bit earlier. And looks like he's struggling in the S's. Has to drop his gears down. Loses a lot of speed.
So a lot of extra shifting there for how those turns like to be taken. But
Yeah,
it's a comfort thing.
the medium tires make it real difficult to have the grip through those S's that you really need. Especially if they're cold. If Cole didn't do a very good job of warming them up through his outlap, it could kill his lap time here just because of those S's. But here he is, DRS on in the second sector. Takes this turn off the back straightaway. Razor pulled off, just letting him by. Razor's already set his time in, so he's not going to go out for another lap.
So this is it. This is your chance to set a better time.
Yeah, Cole Cummins taking these turns really slow. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to make too much time up here. As he's locking it in 7th for the fast right-hander here. It's just what you want to do. Makes the track as wide as possible, hitting all the curbs, use as much space as is available to him. As he misses the apex on the final turn, loses about a tenth there, and Cole Cummins is going to go P16.
So slight improvement. Nothing to write home about, but you know.
Definitely better, definitely better. Yeah. Gained about a second off his best time there, though, so.
So that knocks Connor all the way down to 14th. He was sitting 7th when he put himself into a wall or whatever happened. You can see it, but that's the danger of going out early, is you can get
on board with Daman Man here, who's on his last chance of the session, rounding the last corner of the track, takes it real tight and invalidates as he goes off the track there. Way too wide out of the last corner, and is going to stick with P19. Just pushed her a little too hard there.
The two AlphaTauri drivers going to be at the back with a lot of work to make up.
And Odin also pushing for another lap. His pole's pretty locked in. Only person that really has a shot is either Ranger or Raptor, I'd say, but Odin just looking to set a faster time. A little too much wheel spin out of the final turn, but he sets a faster lap anyway of a 131.5. Luis breaks into P2 with a 131.8. So that pushes the McLarens down to 3-4. So both the McLarens are going to be starting on the second row, it looks like, unless Ranger can do something about it as he hits the pit wall.
Hits the pit wall.
Raptor.
Validated.
Yeah.
He will not set a time here.
So Raptor out of the session. That's everybody. So this looks like it's going to be your starting order.
So Odan, Louise, Razor, Pelon, Ranger, Raptor, Buzzgod, Zebrastag, Josh Barnsley, Ethan Patel round out your top 10. Shadow MX, Cooler Peter, Brian Hapman, Snoop Francis, Connor, Thrax, Cole Cummins, The Drip Israel, Dom Inman, and Mr. Robot. Round out your grid.
So I'm not too familiar with Robot. Is he going to be able to get off the back row there?
Oh yeah, I think he's gonna have a real nice recovery drive as long as he is able to stay within himself and run his race without worrying about what's going on in front of him. He's going to slowly make up those places. He's a good driver. He's solid. He knows what to do, and it's just stay out of your own head and run your race.
Super unfortunate for him. So the weather looking like it's all cloudy. No rain predicted, but that's going to keep the track temps down, which may be a boon for these drivers starting on the softs, which looks like it's going to be everybody in the top 10. Able to maybe make those softs last a lap longer, keeping the heat down. As Odan and Luis, the two new Brazilian drivers, start P1 and P2, followed up by both McLarens of Razor and Pylon. So Luis, arguably in the better position here.
Be very interesting to see how the two former friends and now rivals go into turn 1 together.
All right, so here we go. About to start the formation lap once we can get everybody loaded in.
Yeah, it looks like things are getting spicy in the paddock. There's some words going on between the McLaren and Aston Martin teams. So we'll see if the drivers can keep their tempers in check for the race.
Not too sure something happened.
Apparently one of the McLaren drivers feels as though Aston Martin messed up their hot lap.
Oh, I see. I didn't notice anything, but
yeah. It's different when you're in the cockpit, though. What seems like nothing can feel like everything.
Definitely something the stewards can take a look at and see if they deem anything suitable there, any kind of penalty. But for now, we've got our race. And the Williams and the Aston Martin on the front row. Two Brazilians followed by the other Brazilian, Razor in third, and his teammate Pylon, Ranger Raptor, Buzzgod, Zebra Strike, Josh Barnsley, Ethan Patel, Shadow MX, The Cooler Peter, Brian Hackman, Snoop Francis, who I am actually very surprised to see that low in the grid order, Connor, Thrax, Cole Cummings, The Drip Israel, Daman Man, and Mr. Robot, who's going to be someone to look at with further recovery drive.
Yeah, now's a really good chance for him to show all of us that didn't get to see him a whole lot. Let's see what you're made of, what you can do. This is your time to shine and move up in the standings and be a good teammate for Raptor, who you know is going to be up there trying to score good points every week and bring Haas back to glory.
Yeah. So we got all the top 10 starting on the soft tires, 11th through 17th, all on the alternate strategy, the medium tire. Except for the Drip Israel and Daman Man, who opted for the softs, and Mr. Robot's on the mediums. So the Drip Israel, definitely a fast driver, a little bit unfortunate with the way his qualifying turned out, but the soft tires may give him a little bit of extra pace here to make his way through the field. Everyone ahead of him's on softs.
It's very interesting.
Or on mediums, I'm sorry.
That's very interesting strategy-wise because the softs are not great on a heavy fuel load, but they are still quicker than the mediums, and it's just a matter of how you manage those because they can start to fall off after between 6 and 8 laps. You can run them all the way out to maybe 10 or 11, but
you'll definitely feel the effects there, yeah.
Without a safety car, you're going to start to be out of sequence with some of the other pit stop strategies.
All right, so here we go. Drivers lining back up on the grid. Aston Martin, the first one to head up on there. So we've got Odan.
Be interesting to see if
up here.
Odan begins to point that car left.
So predicted pit stop strategy: soft, medium, or soft, hards. I don't disagree with that. I definitely say use as many fresh softs as you have. If you have the scrub set, though, it might be worth it going to the mediums just so you can keep track position.
Yeah, and like I had mentioned earlier, I think having the softs towards the end when you're lighter on fuel stretches a little longer.
Especially if there's a late safety car, just to save that. All right, here we go. Hopping on board with Odan as the race is going to get underway. Got a great view of the lights here as the rest of the field lines up. What's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go. Odan leading them off. Looks like he's not going to try and head off the Williams driver, who's actually had a terrible start as the McLaren's looking up the inside. Has to back off a little bit. Doesn't want to cause any contact. Turn 1.
Like Razor's going wide, lose the positions. Ranger, Ethan Patel.
And looks like Luis has managed to hang on to the position. Shadow MX drops down a good few places. I'm not sure what happened there. Shadow MX going way down the order.
We've got a Josh Barnsley 5-second penalty for corner cutting and gained a place.
It's unfortunate for Josh Barnsley.
Got crazy there in a hurry. So Buzzgod's lost 7 positions.
Let's take a look at the position changes here. So Pylon's moved up a place off of his teammate. Raptor's moved up 2 places into P4. Razor's the one that lost out there, but sticks around P5. Zebra Strike and Ethan Patel.
Buzzgod is around.
Yeah, looks like he's got back on track though. So unfortunate for Buzzgod.
Had a miserable race in Austria. We're hoping for not a repeat this time. Doesn't appear to have
Real story here. Snoop Francis up from P14 to P8 in the first couple corners here.
Made up 6 positions already and is going to work on Ranger.
Thrax up 5 positions currently. And Mr. Robot's already up to P18 from his P20 start.
Another yellow flag. It's like the Drip Israel dropping down. Oh, he's overtaken Shadow MX.
Right. So Odin already dropping Louise out of his DRS range. A little bit over a second here, but definitely plenty of time to make that up before DRS gets enabled.
But the pits. Buzzgod is in the pits already.
Yeah, so there was probably some wing damage for both of those drivers there. Currently, Raptor, the only person in the top 6 who's within DRS range of any driver. As Luis actually makes up about 2/10 in the first sector there. So Luis catching back up to Odin. Both definitely very quick drivers, both on the soft tires, have the same tire set available to them. So it's going to be a close race between the two.
Raptor in the middle of a McLaren sandwich as they come down the back straight trying to catch up with the leaders. Everybody within about 2 seconds of each other. Razor slowly dropping back from Raptor right now.
Speaking of the McLaren sandwich, though, take a look at Pylon's ERS usage. He's already almost over halfway through his battery on the second lap here.
Something he's going to need to keep an eye on. You don't want to wear that battery out too soon. When you
Not a lot of chances to charge your battery back up in Coda here, so
Josh
definitely give the lay off of it a little bit.
Francis looking for a move.
So yeah, hop on board with Josh Barnsley here as he's looking to make a move around the outside. The Mercedes heads him off though, pushes him a little bit wide, but it stays clean. Real good racing from the Ferrari and the Mercedes here as Snoop Francis stays ahead through that battle. Onto the straight of the third lap here as Josh Barnsley's on the battery, looking around the outside of turn 1. It looks like taking a quick peek, looking up the inside now, backs out of it, thinks better. And we got Raptor looking at Pylon's gearbox real close as well.
Drip into the pits. Thrax makes up a spot. Shadow MX takes a spot for Mr. Robot. So we got some action towards the back as well.
The Cooler Peter's going to drop down to P19. So he'll probably take that position back. Oh, P does pit as well. So Zebra Strike probably going to move back up in the order a little bit here as he does. And Odin already receives a penalty for track limits. So Odin pushing a little bit too hard, trying to keep Luis behind, who's in DRS range as it's going to be enabled this lap. And let's see what these drivers can do with their newfound advantage. Josh Barnsley on the battery from P9, looking all over the rear end of the Mercedes, has DRS, ERS, turns the battery off. Looks like he's just going to tuck in behind and stay safe at. No, I take that back. He's up the inside of the Mercedes here. So much more speed, out-braking him. And what a clean overtake from Josh Barnsley as he moves ahead of Snoop Francis. And Ethan Patel and Ranger also having a battle right up ahead. Ranger around the outside of Ethan Patel. There's a little bit of contact there, but not too much. Now Ranger has the inside line. And the camera has decided to move off of that as the overtake is made by Ranger. So Ranger keeps his position from Ethan Patel, but a great battle between the two.
We had a lot of this last night in Division 3. We had 1 and 2 fighting the whole time, 3 and 4 fighting the whole time. So you're going to find these little clusters and pockets of guys going back and forth, trading ERS passes. As long as they all keep it clean, it's going to be a very fun race.
So big thing here, Pylon ahead of Raptor. Pylon 40% battery. Raptor has 80% and the DRS. So Raptor's in a great position to get into the podium places here.
Shadow MX makes up another spot. He's gone from 15 to 12 in 2.5 laps.
That's real good for Shadow MX. So far, Daman Man's moved up from P18 to P13, or P19 to P13. So that's 6 places by Daman Man, making those soft tires work for him. Real great to see from him. And the Cooler Peters opted for the hard tires. As Raptor up around the outside, it looks like a little bit of contact between the McLaren and the Haas there. But it looks like Raptor is just going to use his DRS. No ERS needed as he takes the position on the back straight. Looks like it was just a bit of wheel banging, though, from the two drivers. I didn't see any actual damage
Nothing malicious. They're just two guys
Yeah.
fighting position.
So Raptor up into the podium positions here as he's going to try and pull away from Pylon, who's going to be in his DRS now. Coming up onto the first straight, as Pylon may actually not get it. Raptor's setting a great end to this lap, as he's currently 9/10 up. Can he make it a second before the line? He doesn't, so Pylon's going to get that DRS on the first straightaway here. Already making up 2/10 just from that low drag. 3/10 now, over a half a second made up by Pylon just because of the drag reduction system there.
And behind them, 5, 6, and 7, Ethan Patel and Ranger both within DRS range, so Razor is going to have to do some defending. Pylon ahead of him. Looks like Pylon's pulling away. The top 4 are going to be away.
So Razor also has the job right now of defending for his teammate.
What's the priority there if you're Razor, defending for your teammate or trying to run your own race? So
I think Razor's probably going to try and at least hold up these fast drivers. Oh, yeah, Zebra Strike goes around. I didn't see what happened there. So full safety car. We've got a bunch of drivers up front in the soft tires. Do you think they go ahead and jump on the mediums, try and just keep track position, or?
Yeah, I think I would at this point. Those mediums are going to be able to go 15 or 20 laps, particularly if there's another safety car. I think that's the wise decision here. But you know there's going to be a couple drivers that are looking that they only have 5 laps on those softs, and they're going to want to stay out another couple laps.
Just big for the medium medium drivers behind them. So drivers like Snoop Francis stand to make up a bunch of positions here, as they're not too spread out from the pack.
So if the top 8 pit right now, that will clear Josh Barnes' penalty, so that will be good for him.
So I definitely see Josh Barnsley pitting here. There's no reason for him not to. He's the last of the soft runners up front, and he's got that penalty he should clear. So Josh Barnsley, definitely one of the drivers that needs to pit.
So if the top 8 all pit now, the driver I think to watch is going to be Shadow MX, because he's only going to have Connor, Snoop Francis, and Cole Cummins in front of him, and he is every bit as quick as any of the rest of them. So that could get very interesting.
And the Cooler Peter, who decided to opt for the hards, has a lot to gain here too, as he catches back up to the pack and may get a couple positions out of it.
Top 8 are all in the pits. Odan putting on the hards, as is Luis.
So it looks like they might be trying to finish out the race on these tires. As Snoop Francis opts for the mediums, and it looks like Snoop Francis has moved up to P2, decided to stay out. He started on the mediums, so definitely a good call by him. There might be another safety car, and that could just be a bunch of free track position for Snoop Francis.
We still have Ranger, Razor, Josh Barnes, Dom, and Thrax in the pits. Looks like they're all going to mediums. And
Luis is out.
Severe
he had a hit with Connor under safety car. I'm not quite sure what happened there. It might have been off the exit of the pits.
It's just before the S's, it looks like, in Sector 1.
Oh.
They're just
so, yeah. So Connor catches a 5-second penalty for severe contact with Luis, but Luis is out of the race.
That's
one of our favorites to win here. That is wildly unfortunate for them. I'm not too sure what happened. Hopefully we can get a little bit of a recap from Luis about what happened.
It looks like the only ones that have stayed out on their older tires are Snoop Francis, Connor, Cole Cummins, Shadow MX, and Mr. Robot, all on the 5-lap-old mediums. Drip Israel on 2-lap-old mediums because he did have to pit for wing damage.
He did have to pit for wing damage earlier, yeah. And Cooler Peter on the 2-lap-old hards, who pitted on the 4th lap due to wing damage.
Dom Inman get a 3-second time penalty under your safety car.
So yeah, track limits under safety car. There's no reason to be pushing at all here. So I don't know. Maybe he just wasn't paying attention. The hards were too cold and he didn't expect it. I'm not too sure what happened there.
Be interested to get his perspective on that later.
So yeah.
So we'll wait for the Cooler Peter to come back around, and once he does, we'll have the full grid behind the safety car. Safety car will go one more lap around, and then it'll come in, and then we'll get back to racing. So to recap where we're at right now, Luis out, Zebra Strike out, your leader Odan, followed by Snoop Francis, Connor, Cole Cummins, Shadow MX, and Raptor. Looks like Connor into the pits, must have taken damage in that collision with Luis.
He also wants to clear that 5-second penalty that he's got, so safety car staying on another lap. Might as well clear that penalty while you have a chance to. All these drivers are real close together. That 5-second penalty could kill you. So looks like Connor just overshot a turn under safety car and rear-ended Luis off the track.
That is unfortunate. And no amount of apologizing or penalties will make you feel any better.
You can't just give the other driver your car. So Connor's still in the race here, but it looks like he might catch a penalty at the end of the race here for that, as he does drop down to P18 to serve that penalty as he tries to catch back up to the pack here on the fresh hard tires.
Yeah, the stewards are definitely taking safety car activity very seriously. They want to make sure that we're clean in all aspects of our racing.
Yeah, there's honestly no reason for contact under safety car. You've got so much space to work with. But Cole Cummings, Shadow MX, and Snoop Francis all in the top 4 now. They've yet to pit, but their tires are still relatively fresh for the mediums. Maybe definitely don't have the advantage against drivers like Pylon and Ethan Patel behind with the fresher tires, but Raptor on the hards looking to go the rest of this race, and everyone ahead of him except for Odan has to pit, so Raptor an effective P2 right now.
So Ethan, I would say, has a small advantage until about the halfway point of the race, but after that he's going to have to pit, and at that point your hard runners are still going to be able to stay out. Most of your medium runners will be staying out.
So yeah, Ethan Patel and Thrax are the only ones that have to pit for the rest of this race. Everyone else could probably finish on these tires, except for Robot, Hackeman, Shadow MX, Cummings, and Snoop Francis, who have all yet to pit yet. But they'll probably be coming back in if there's another safety car.
I think at this point, if you're a soft runner, that's what you're praying for. You're praying to be quick for about 5 or 6 laps, and then for somebody far, far away from you to make a bad mistake.
Yep, so safety car back in. Odan leading us off as he slows down the pack into turn 1, and he's already... It looks like he's starting off real early here. Never mind. Yep, he's back on the gas for super early. Catches Snoop Francis off guard. Already almost a second and a half ahead. So Odan with a rocket start, but does have that penalty to think about as Snoop Francis struggles to keep up. He's got Shadow MX right behind him on his gearbox.
1.8 gap already from 1 to 2.
Yeah. Odan flying on the fresh hard tires here.
That's a lot of confidence in the Brazilian right there to know that he can take this to the S's with those hard tires. Takes a lot more to get heat into those.
Yeah, once you get the heat in them, Austin's a pretty hot track, so a little bit easier to get heat into the tires as it is to other tracks here. But Shadow MX looks like he's tunneling around the outside of Snoop Francis. Looks for the switchback now as he takes the much wider line. And they're going to be side by side onto the back straight here. No DRS though, but it's all about who has less drag on their setup, it looks like. And it looks like the Alfa Romeo is going to come out ahead. Yeah, Shadow MX.
That was the driver to watch for me on the restart, and he just showed us all why he can fly. But
yeah,
he's still going to be at a disadvantage to the 2 hard runners when it comes to needing to pit again, I believe.
Yeah, Shadow MX definitely has to do that extra pit stop. Ethan Patel looks like he's looking for a move on both Red Bulls here. Or on his teammate Cole Cummings, I'm sorry. We see Ethan in the Ferrari.
Wonder if we had a little chat there. Decided Ethan's going to be faster on the soft. So
yeah, little team orders. He's on the softs. Might as well let him through. Cole Cummings still has to pit, so no reason to hold up your teammate there if you're going to be going into the pits eventually anyway. As Ethan Patel 0.3 seconds behind Raptor, who's on the hard tires. So this is going to be a tough battle for Raptor.
Ranger's slowly making up some places. He's up to P8, so he's going to be on Cole's bumper really quickly.
So Ethan Patel all over the back of Raptor here through the S's. Not a great place to overtake, but he's just got to fall in behind as he's going to come onto the DRS straight right after this.
Yeah, just got to make it stick into that hairpin corner, get the power down.
Nice. Yeah, Ethan doing a great job of staying right on Raptor's gearbox here. Hasn't lost any time at all. So this is where we're probably going to see the move. Ethan Patel pushing against Raptor here. No battery, but he's definitely got the faster tires, more grip out of the corner there. DRS not available yet, as it's only been 2 laps after the safety car. So Ethan Patel going to bide his time, wait for DRS to be enabled probably to take that overtake, as Raptor pushes them both off a track. Raptor picks up a penalty for that maneuver as Ethan flies by. Raptor unable to get back up to speed. Looks like Raptor just tried to head him off and just overshot it a little bit.
Now, there may have been a little contact between the rear of Raptor and the front of Ethan. I couldn't see it very well, but there was a wiggle there.
There was probably a little bit of contact there, but now Raptor's got to worry about Ethan's teammate, Cole Cummings, who's close behind. So and also we got Pylon. Looks like he's might be even trying to make a move on the Mercedes of Snoop Francis here. As he's looking up the inside of turn 1. And he has the much better line heading into turn 1. So Pylon, can he make the move stick as the Mercedes has more grip out of the corner? So Pylon still just ahead of Snoop Francis here, and looks like that's how it's going to be out of the S's.
I wonder if Pylon got a couple of warnings there. It looks like he might have cut a couple corners, but not enough that he would have to get the position back.
Doesn't look like there's any warning for an illegal overtake off track or anything like that, so Pylon going to stick with that position, but he is 4 seconds behind Shadow MX, who's flying up front trying to catch Odan, but Odan still has that 2-second gap.
Ethan Patel's all over the back of Snoop Francis within 2/10, and DRS flap wide open, no battery, but chasing him down quickly.
Yeah, Ethan Patel trying to make these softs work as well as they can while they're still in their good operating range. So Ethan Patel has the advantage over the old medium tires of Snoop Francis.
Cole Cummins drops another position at Ranger. So I wonder if those just slightly older mediums aren't working for him at this point.
Yeah. Ranger definitely has the advantage in grip as Ethan Patel tries to make a move around the outside of the Mercedes here. Looking about the same as it did with Raptor, but the Mercedes doesn't quite give him a nudge the way the Haas did, so he's just going to follow back in behind. He's got the DRS straight coming up, but the Mercedes is also going to have... No, he's not. Mercedes is going to have no DRS off the McLaren as the Red Bull opens up its rear wing, has the inside line, and looks like he's going to make that move super easily. Yeah, Ethan Patel taking him right to Gappleby's there as he heads out of turn 1.
The Ranger on the fresher medium tires just took over Raptor, so that's 4 spots now Raptor's lost. I wonder if he's getting a little frustrated on
those hard tires. You got to be struggling with those. But they are going to phase in better than the mediums will towards the end of the race. So Raptor's sacrificing some pace right now, hoping that he's going to have more pace at the end.
Ranger's closing up the gap on Snoop Francis as well as Snoop continues to tumble down from his high of 2nd place. About 6 laps difference in those tires, and Ranger with the pace advantage, and he's going to have DRS.
So yeah, Ranger with DRS. Snoop Francis doesn't have DRS, so no way to defend against this, really. As we've got Ranger, ERS, DRS. Looks like he's alongside, takes the outside, and makes it look easy as Snoop Francis just keeps losing positions here. The old medium's just not working for him.
Snoop tried to defend the inside. It's not a bad move. Just didn't work for him that time.
Just doesn't have the grip.
And now Raptor's quickly closing up on Snoop Francis as Snoop continues to tumble down the order.
So who do you think has the tire advantage right now? So Snoop Francis is on 10-lap old mediums, but Raptor has the fresher hard tires.
Yeah, so right now I think Snoop's going to continue to tumble, and he's praying for a safety car. He's just waiting for his pit window, and he's trying to balance out how long can I stay on these before I go either to a set of hards, or hopefully I can stretch this out just long enough to get.
So the Mercedes again, no DRS to defend as the Haas makes the pass into turn 1. A little bit of contact there as Raptor tries to push him off the track, but the Mercedes fighting back as he takes the outside into the S's. Who's going to take this one? Looks like the Haas just has the better line there as he takes the curb. A little bit too much there, probably a warning, but he does keep the position. So Raptor ahead of Snoop Francis, just barely. Some great battling from the two of them, but now Snoop Francis has Cole Cummings, who has the same tires as him, both 11-lap old mediums. But yeah, Cole Cummings looking all over the rear of Snoop Francis here.
Connor back in P14, 2/10 behind Mr. Robot on the fresher hards. So I wonder if Mr. Robot's mediums are starting to fall off just a little bit. Razor on the back of Cole Cummins may get this move done. And does. He takes the place. Razor moves into 8th over Cole Cummins.
Cole Cummings pushed off the track a little bit there, but just didn't have the space to cut into the turn like he wanted to, as the Ferrari looks to make a move on him too.
Ethan slowly closing the gap on Pelon ahead. He's down to half a second, but he's almost halfway through the useful life of those softs. So if you're gonna make moves, you gotta push super hard right now.
Yeah, so Ethan, real close to Pylon, but after he passes Pylon, there's really nobody ahead of him that he's going to be able to catch before the softs start to fall off. But he's got DRS here. The McLaren ahead of him doesn't. Yeah, Brian Hackenman's around.
Oh, and his wing is gone as he tries to come back onto this track.
So yeah, Brian Hackenman having a rough race so far. Just bad luck.
Mr. Robot P13 into the pits, dropping down the order, getting off those 12-lap-old mediums. Maybe he was thinking this was going to be a safety car when the Ferrari went around?
He might have seen the incident and sort of banked on it. But Mr. Robot's going to go into the pits as well here.
And as we watch them, Ethan Patel takes Pelon, as does Ranger. So Pelon just dropped 2 spots down from P3 to P5. So Ethan up in the podium places now. Pelon continues to drop. He's down to P10.
Pelon's had an issue. Yeah.
Gone around out of the S's.
Yeah, Pelon just now getting back on track, but has more cars coming up on him. And they goes through him, thankfully. Okay. A little bit worried there about what was going to happen. So Pelon loses all the track position he had there. He was having a great race.
Brian Hackman going on to a fresh set of softs. And I'm not sure what the strategy is there with 15 laps to go.
So yeah, you can probably take the softs 15 laps, but you're going to be definitely struggling towards the end of the stint there.
It's like Drip Israel about to get a move done on the Cooler Peter. Backs out of it. P13.
Drip Israel just deciding to follow behind the Alpine here of the Cooler Peter. The Alpine real slow, and Drip Israel has a little bit too much wheel spin, so not able to capitalize on the Alpine being slow ahead of him.
Thrax and Cole fighting back and forth for position there. Cole into the pits.
So Thrax is going to gain that position as he has a big bundle of cars ahead of him with the Haas. Soup Francis got the position back from Raptor. So that's...
Not sure what's happening there. It's like Connor dropping a bunch of spots. Josh Martin's in the pits.
Cole Cummings also into the pits. Goes on also onto the softs here. So I guess they're going to try and ride out the rest of the race on soft tires.
I think Domin Man had a bit of a moment in the final quarter.
I'm not too sure with Daman Man. He is up 2 seconds on his time, so he may have just come off a little bit.
So resetting our order, Odan P1, Shadow MX, Ethan Patel, Ranger Snoop Francis, Raptor, Razor, Thrax, the Cooler Peter, and Pelon in P10. So he's made up Pelon's made a little bit of that up. He was down to P15, so he's back up to P10.
So the thing about Ethan Patel is he's going to have to pit again. You're not going to take these 21 laps, it looks like. These soft tires, they're just not going to last. So Ethan Patel might lose most of this track position he's gained by being on the soft tires.
A little back and forth with Snoop Francis and Razor right now. Looks like they're trading positions back and forth.
So yeah, looks like
back of Raptor.
Snoop Francis goes super wide and loses the position to Raptor and Razor.
Shadow MX into the pits with his 14-lap-old mediums. He's ready to get off of those.
Probably going to opt onto the soft tires here. Let's see if he has a fresh set. So yep, Shadow MX onto the softs. This is about when you want to go onto the softs. I guess some of these drivers are just going for an undercut, but it was maybe a little too early for that. Odan, Ranger, Raptor, Razor, all don't have to pit again. And Snoop Francis is going to have to pit still. He has yet to. And it's about time for his pit window.
So here at coming out of the S is Razor within 4/10 of Raptor. We might see something happen there on that straight. Razor's been really quick on the straights. Raptor, that's where he seems to be losing a little bit of time.
Raptor's struggling on the straights. Raptor may have gone with a higher downforce setup. Sectors 2 and 3 are really high downforce, but
Brian Hackman goes fastest lap.
Okay, so Brian Hackenman with the fresh softs, showing that he has the pace to keep up, but just been a little bit unlucky throughout this race as Connor's into the pits for fresh medium tires, but way behind the pack and probably not going to be able to catch up.
So we got Thrax and Shadow MX, the two Alfa Romeos running right together, both really quick drivers, but Thrax with the older tires, so hopefully they're communicating well there as Shadow MX is looking to take over Snoop Francis and does.
Thrax is probably going to have to pit again. So Thrax probably just ceding to his teammate. Gonna let his teammate run his race as he's got a great chance to catch up to all these drivers on the older, harder tires. So Shadow MX all over the rear of Razor here as he's looking up the inside. Both drivers have DRS though. But he's got the inside line into turn 1. Looks like he's gonna try and slide just ahead of him. Not much room there as the Haas is also in front, but Shadow MX overtakes the Haas as well. It's a double overtake for the Alfa Romeo.
Shows the difference of lower fuel and brand new soft tires. You can really drive it in there.
Yeah, so Shadow MX, great driving from him, able just to thread the needle in between the Haas and the McLaren of Raptor and Razor.
So looking at it as it stands now, Shadow MX on the podium because we think Ethan's going to have to stop. There's no way you make it 21 laps on those softs, and Odin's got a penalty.
Yeah, so Shadow MX has a great opportunity here. Let's take a look at all the penalties we've got.
6 seconds for Odin, 3 seconds for Raptor. Thrax was 6 seconds. Buzzgod 6 seconds. Drip Israel down at 12 with 11 seconds. Cole Cummins 13 with 3 seconds. Domin Min has 3 seconds. 17th place, Mr. Robot has 3 seconds, and Connor finishing out the pack also with 3 seconds of penalties.
Yeah, all these drivers behind Odin just trying to close into that 6-second gap, and Odin's on the hard tires. He's real quick, but a good strategy call here could change all that. Especially with Shadow MX looking real pacey on the fresh soft tires so far. As he sets the fastest lap of the race.
Of course he does.
So yeah, definitely real pacey.
Thrax will be getting off those old softs, soon putting on a set of mediums. It's a little late in the day for hards. Maybe he's got another set of softs he can put on.
Thrax has used 2 compounds already, so he has the chance for softs, but he opts for the mediums, it looks like. Buzzgod also into the pits. Brian Hackeman adding on to his penalty count.
And Brian is around in Sector 3 again. He's had that same incident 3 times.
But yeah, I guess he just didn't set the car up very well. A little bit too skittish for him.
Buzzgod goes into the pits down to P15, so he'll drop a few more places again.
So Shadow MX is 15 seconds behind Ranger, who is 11 seconds behind Ethan. Ethan has to pit still, but Shadow MX might not be in the window to overtake Ethan through pit stops. As I'm looking at from the leader and not the interval, I take it all back. Shadow MX definitely in a position to overtake Ethan.
Absolutely, and Rangers somewhere about the middle of the life of those tires, so there's no telling how much he's going to have left on those.
Yeah, Ranger probably going to be a little bit slower towards the end of the race, but Shadow MX is going to slow way down as about lap 10 comes around, so Shadow MX is going to push real early. So yeah, Ethan decides it's time. Let's see where he comes out at.
Strap some mediums on. Looks like he'll filter out around P6, P7.
So Ethan Patel coming out of the pits now. Looks like he'll be racing a McLaren on the pit exit. That's Pelon. Who's going to come out ahead of who here? As Pelon's real close. And looks like Ethan Patel stays just ahead. And Ethan Patel's not too far behind Raptor either, and he's got way fresher tires and the softer compound. So Ethan Patel actually in a position to get back up to maybe 4th place.
Going to take a lot of work, but we know if he just keeps it consistent, he's got the pace to do it.
Yeah. Drip Israel dropping way down the order. Drip Israel's had a moment. No, he's dropped into the pits. I'm sorry.
It's like Snoop Francis fitted a new set of softs, so he's going to look to try to chase down Thrax and Cool Peter and try to maximize his points.
Snoop Francis just going to try and get into the points here. Was running in second at one point. Now he's down into P11, so he just wants to get back into that top 10.
We got Ranger and Raptor about halfway through the life on those mediums. They're going to start to fall off here in about 5 laps, which leaves about 5 laps to go. So you got to really keep a balance between pace and tire usage here.
So yeah, so Razor's medium tires are going to start to fall off here as Raptors are still going to be well within their operating window. So Raptor might start to gain a little bit more pace, even though he's on the hard tires over Razor here.
Ethan had a little bit of a moment at the start of Sector 3. Kind of.
Oh yeah, Ethan's lost a lot of time to Raptor. So.
Shadow MX takes the spot from Ranger. Looks like they're having a little back and forth there, second and third.
Yeah, Shadow MX takes that position. He's currently running P2. Has to make up, 7 seconds to beat Odon here?
Which you think he can do on those softs. Just will they last for the last 2 or 3 laps? As he seems to go fastest in Sector 1.
Yeah, so Shadow MX definitely has the chance here to catch up to Odon and possibly win this race just off of penalties.
So 2 laps ago went fastest. He just went faster in Sector 1. We'll see what he can do in Sector 2.
So yeah, Shadow MX pushing super hard.
And we've got a Ferrari of Josh Barnsley around right after turn 1.
Can't catch him.
So
Josh Barnsley back on the track here, just ahead of Daman Man. And Snoop Francis on the fresh softs, not making up a whole lot of time on Thrax, who's on the medium tires.
And Josh Barnsley on those hot tires looks like he's had an incident just before the S's. He continues to drop down the order, down to P16 now. So you got to be real careful, especially in that.
I'm gonna hop on board with Razor here, who's looking all over the gearbox of Raptor.
As Thrax takes the spot from Cooler Peter for P9 on those fresh softs.
Thrax up a position, but Thrax also has that penalty, and Cooler Peter really just has to follow behind him. And Razor goes into the pits. I really thought Razor was going to try and finish the race on these medium tires. Let's see what he gops with. He goes onto the soft tires, and it's about a 2-second pit stop. So,
both McLarens
almost a double stack that could hurt Pilon though, as the pit crew does have to reset. So Pilon's going to drop way down the order, out of the top 10 here, as he goes on to the fresh softs.
I'll have Snoop Francis ahead on.
And Razor racing one of the Alfa Romeos on the exit, almost has contact, but he's back up to speed now. So Razor tucking in behind Thrax here, going to be looking for an overtake as he has the better tires. And Shadow MX has made up about 7/10 in 2 laps. Not quite what he needs to catch up to Odon though and get within that 6 seconds.
But if it's put in the race, you're not going to be mad about a P2. There's no danger really from behind with Ranger.
Yeah, Ranger's dropped way behind since that overtake.
Unless those softs really start to fall off if he's been pushing too hard, because he's staying quick. He hasn't lost much pace here.
So we got Razor DRS on the Alfa Romeo driver ahead of him as he looks around the outside. Can he make the move stick as the Alfa Romeo just tucks in, accepts it, and looks like it's going to be a clean overtake from Razor. He's going to be chasing down Cole Cummings now, about 4 seconds behind.
Ranger into the pits to get off those.
And Thrax catches a penalty. So that's going to move Raptor up into the podium positions, but Raptor also has that penalty. Ethan Patel within range, I think.
On the fresh softs.
Yeah, so yeah, Ethan Patel within range to take that podium away from Raptor just off a penalty. So he's going to be lapping faster on the fresher medium tires than the old hards of Raptor.
Absolutely. Cole Cummins into the pit. Looks like some fresh softs for him. He'll drop about 4 spots. Promotes Pilon back up to P10.
So we still got Cooler Peter out. 17 lap old hard tire. You think he's going to pit here, or is this at the point where you just ride out the rest of the race on these old tires?
He's going to need to do something. He's got Snoop Francis all over his bumper. And
who's on the fresher softs, much fresher soft tires.
Brian Hackman again in Sector 3 in the same spot. Man, it may be time for a little wing adjustment, get some front downforce, or just a little lift through there, because that is not his friend today.
Brian Hackman's not able to keep it clean there as Daman Man jumps into the pits for some fresh soft tires. Brian Hackman runs into the pits, so Josh Barnsley's going to take that position. And we've got Snoop Francis up the inside of the Cooler Peter. And it looks like Cooler Peter manages to hold on to that position. Just barely, though. Snoop Francis, so much more grip.
Shadow MX into the pits. That's surprising.
Oh, goodness. So Shadow MX has decided just to opt for the pacier, fresh, soft tire. But this might give Raptor... Yeah, Raptor's going to take the position. Ethan Patel's going to take the position.
I think he's gambling on Raptor and Odan's tires soon to fall off, and then he can go ahead and take that lead.
But now he's got a lot of overtakes to make just to get back into the same position.
As Pilon has a little bump with the Cooler Peter.
And with Pilon, as he's up the inside of the Cooler Peter here into turn 1 and makes the move stick. Looks like there's a Mercedes trying to follow him through. That's Snoop Francis. Pilon goes way too wide. And Snoop Francis is just going to take that position from Cooler Peter as well. As Snoop Francis goes too wide. Cooler Peter biting at his neck.
So back-to-back, Pilon breaks his left front wing, and Snoop Francis has damage to his left front wing. So they're both going to be slower through the S's.
Yeah. Unfortunate for both those drivers. You have to think, do you pit now or do you deal with it? Try and keep your track position. Got a lot of drivers real close to you, though, so...
With 7 laps to go right now, my story is Buzzgod. Buzzgod had a horrible outing at Austria. Early on in the race, he was down in P20. He is up in P10 on 4-lap-old medium tires. That has got to be a great feeling for the SMR.
And he's closing in on the Cooler Peter real quick here. About a second and a half down. Definitely going to be able to get within that DRS range pretty soon here, as he's on the much fresher, softer tires. And Shadow MX up into P3, past Ethan Patel. As he's all over the rear. The Haas has an incident.
Come together.
So the Haas lost the rear end there. That's Raptor. And looks like Ethan Patel just wasn't able to avoid it.
Oh, and as I brag on Buzzgod, in Sector 2, he goes around.
Unfortunate for Buzzgod. I think Shadow MX came out pretty clean from that.
So maybe his pit strategy was right. I definitely wouldn't have tried that, but it's working nicely for him. Raptor takes
the Red Bull sliding all over the place. Tires way too hot after that incident.
And has damage to his front wing.
Yeah, so Ranger looking for the overtake here as he has much better traction up the inside. So Ranger up into P4, going to be chasing down Raptor now.
Oh, heartbreak for Ethan Patel.
Yeah, Ethan didn't do anything wrong there. Raptor just lost the rear end. A little bit too much power, a little too early. As Ranger has DRS on Raptor closing in. I don't want to look behind.
And doesn't even need to make this move at this point, even though he makes
so
it.
Ranger
Everyone ahead has penalties.
Up into P3. Yeah, but Ranger wants to try and catch up to Shadow MX and maybe close within that penalty gap and take that P2.
And we have someone off. It's like Buzzgod had another incident out of the S's. That's the broadcaster curse. Definitely jinxed him.
So Buzzgod almost hits Mr. Robot as he goes around the outside into the second straight. And has to take a very wide line to avoid contact. Loses a bunch of time there.
And Buzzgod has broken his front wing. It's gone.
Unfortunate. So Shadow MX takes the fastest lap back as he's about 6 seconds clear of Ranger. So Ranger not really a threat on track, but definitely a threat to close that 3-second gap for penalties here. But he's losing a bunch of time to Shadow as he's just far quicker through the S's here. And Shadow MX about 13 seconds behind Odon.
As Ethan continues to drop down the order, he was up near P2 and now all the way down in P10. That's just got to be so frustrating.
And it's real frustrating for Ethan, who was running a great race, didn't do anything wrong there, was just having some nice close racing, and unfortunately Raptor just not able to keep it together. No fault to Raptor either, it's just that's racing, it happens sometimes.
So we'll reset our order with 5 laps to go. We have Odon in first, Shadow MX in second, Ranger, Raptor, Razor round out our top 5. Thrax, the surprise of Cole Cummins with a great recovery drive. Pilon in 8, Cooler Peter in 9, Ethan Patel unfortunately all the way down into P10.
Yeah. So Shadow MX, he has to get within 9 seconds, or make up 9 seconds here on Odon. He's made up about 2 seconds in the past couple laps. So he's got about a second a lap on Odon. but only has 4 laps left to go. So Shadow MX might not be able to close this gap the way he thought he was going to.
It's tough at this point because you have to balance, what's the potential.
As Ranger picks up a penalty, so that's what kills his chances for getting a second place. Raptor, or Razor in a good spot too. All the penalties in front of him.
And on the newer, fresher, soft tires on a light fuel load, 4 laps to go. You got to push hard now because you got to make up.
So Thrax has 9 seconds of penalties, so it looks like he's going to drop down to about 9th if he can't break a gap here.
As we have the Cooler Peter, I believe.
Raptor making the move on Ranger. Ranger around. Not able to keep it on track. Pushed a little bit too hard. Overcooked the tire. So Raptor up into P3 now. And that's a effective P3 after all the penalties shake out. So we got the Haas back up into the podium places thanks to a mistake by the Williams of Ranger.
Razor quickly closing that gap. He's into about a second. Will not have DRS this time.
So Ranger's going to have super hot tires here. So Razor should have a lot more grip advantage coming onto this second part of the track. But he has no battery to try and catch up, and just outside the DRS range as they cross the detection point.
Honor is back into the pit, so putting on a fresh set of softs, trying to make up a few places here towards the end. Don't really understand that, though, because you're going to drop all the way down to P18.
Yeah, so Connor on his 3rd pit stop. Buzzgod moves up. He's had 4 pit stops. Shadow MX, 2, Raptor, and Odan, the only ones with 1 pit stop of all the front runners.
Cooler Peter, 21 laps on those hards. They've got to be getting real tired by now, and you got Ethan Patel behind you. 2/10 back on fresh softs. That should be a pretty easy move for Ethan at this point.
Yeah, it looks like it's about to happen as Ethan having to slow way down for the Cooler Peter. A little bit of contact at the rear end there. Ethan Patel just getting slowed down, not able to find the gap to make the overtake work as he just gives Peter a little bit of space here so he doesn't make contact. But Ethan definitely going to make the overtake work here on the start-finish straight.
2 laps to go, so Ethan just has to be patient, find the right spot to stick it in.
And here it is. Here's our moment. Ethan Patel with a great move on the Cooler Peter as he makes that stick. Ethan Patel up to P9.
Brian Hackman goes around just out of the S's. He's ghosted right now, so he'll be out of the way of the cars behind him.
Yeah, Brian Hackman has been lapped by most cars out on track at this point. And Cole Cummings looks like he's trying to close in on Thrax here. No real reason to do that.
As Thrax picks up another penalty.
Oh, that's unfortunate for him.
So Cole can just sit here. He doesn't need to send it. That's you're getting that spot no matter what.
So Shadow MX has made up a bunch of time. He's down 7 seconds, needs to make up 4 seconds in 3 laps, or about 2.5 laps. So doable, maybe.
Cole takes.
But he's gonna be pushing real hard here.
And it looks like we have an Alfa Romeo of Thrax around.
So Thrax pushed a little bit too hard trying to defend that position, and he goes around. And that's going to give Ethan and Cole 6 and 7.
We've said it about 5 times now, and this time Brian Hackman actually finished himself off in that sector. The same corner got him 4 times, and this last time was the charm.
Brian Hackman just not friends with that corner. Unfortunate for him. So he's out of the race there.
A rough, forgettable night, but since we're within 2 laps of the finish of the race, there'll be no safety car.
As Odan laps the Mercedes. Almost laps the Mercedes. And looks like no safety car. We're not going to finish under safety car. So Shadow MX still has about 3 seconds to make up in 1.5 laps. That's the real story here, is whether or not he can do that on the much faster tire, though.
I don't understand Thrax going into the pits here with a lap and a half to go.
Wing damage, maybe, from that incident earlier?
No, swing didn't get replaced. Just put on fresh softs. I'm confused by that. You just dropped.
He just thought he might not be able to stay on track with that wing damage. You're gonna lose the positions anyway going that slow, especially through the S's, so might as well try and finish the race. So Shadow MX, 5.3 down, onto the last lap, has to make up 2.3 seconds. As we hop on board with him for the last part of this race here Also a good story, Ranger super close to Raptor. Ranger has the fresher soft tires and Raptor on the 20 lap old hard tires.
Odan coming up on some lap traffic. Doesn't look like it's going to be too big of an issue, but getting that dirty air coming through the S's really unsettled the car and slow you down.
So, yeah, big story here. Shadow MX, if he didn't pit about 6 laps ago when he didn't have to, do you think he would have made up that time to Odan?
No, I don't think so. And I think we'll probably see him sitting around P3, P4 right now because he would have had, 12, 13 lap old softs at that time. And they really start falling off. You get around 50 to 60% wear on them, and it's driving on butter.
That's fair. Ranger, 6 lap old softs, looking all over the rear Raptor on the last lap here. This is his one chance. He's got 22% battery coming up onto the DRS straight. Here's the long one. It's his last chance for an overtake, really, as he's looking all over the rear of the Haas here, trying to knock Raptor out of the podium position. Raptor's going to do everything he can to defend, but doesn't have that DRS as Raptor moves to the inside. And, Ranger running out of fuel. Can he make it to the end and make the move stick? The Haas has the fuel to put down the power. Wheel-to-wheel racing for the Williams and the Haas here. As Odan wins the race. That's going to be final, and Ranger gets the inside. Raptor has the inside line for the next one. And Ranger, more grip around the outside, just outgrips the hard tires, and looks like he's going to make that move stick towards the end here.
Oh, and it looks like we've got a McLaren has gone off.
It looks like it's Razor. Dang.
Back on,
so Cole Cummins penalty though.
So congratulations to our race winner, Odan, Shadow MX, Ranger, Raptor, Cole Cummins just ahead of Razor. Ethan Patel takes Razor. So Razor must have some damage.
So we got
fifth, Ethan
Pylon,
Patel.
Razor, and a little bit of wing damage that's visible. So Razor going to finish this race P7.
So a couple of new faces rounding out our top two. A young Brazilian driver, our Mexican driver Shadow MX that we all knew was pretty quick. Ranger and Raptor had great battles all the way to the end. Ethan Patel, rough night, lots of good fighting, back and forth. Had an incident, made up P5. Can't be completely mad about that.
Still good points for Ethan Patel and Cole Cummings there. Cole Cummings started at the back of the pack, so he's able to move to the P6 and get a lot of points for the team there. That wasn't really expected.
I think not the best of celebrations in the Red Bull garage, but they'll be happy with that. Happy enough.
I'll probably be content. Ethan gonna be disappointed he wasn't able to finish out his podium here, but it happens. You just gotta roll with it, try out for the next race. So Shadow MX gets driver of the day. I gotta agree. Some pretty good strategy calls from him, and was able to keep on the pace.
Just really, really solid, and as far as we could tell, really clean. We didn't get to watch him the entire race, obviously, so there may have been a little incident here or there, but it seemed like he had pretty good control of himself and his car all day.
Yeah, so got the Aston Martin of Odan, Shadow MX, and Ranger. All these short R names. And the Williams rounding out your top three here on the podium. Let's see if we can get Odan in here.
Let's start with P3 with Ranger.
For me?
If I can find him. There he is. I just need to know where to drop him.
Yeah, I mean, drop him in the broadcast. That's fine.
There's Ranger. Hey, buddy.
Oh, my mic was muted. My bad.
No problem.
A little bit of awkward silence. So yeah, great last lap from you. Able to pull out that P3. How was the race?
Oh god, it was hectic because slow start. There was some contact in the first corner, and then trying to make it out through the traffic. And then from there was after I had spun out. Near the end, I had to figure out how to get 3 seconds ahead of Razor. Get the position from Raptor, and then also make sure that my fuel was good, because I believe I finished with literally 0.01 fuel.
Yeah, so we saw your fuel light on.
Yeah, she was on. She was just blinking at me.
You definitely don't get Vettled here on your fuel load, so you'll be fine there.
So tell us about some of those battles you had. It was a lot of really good back and forth. There's some nervous times there, but it seemed like
Yeah.
you were really in control of yourself through most of it.
Yeah, just making sure I stuck through the line, and I knew the guys were pushing very hard, their cars very hard. I felt very comfortable with my downforce, and the car was responding, and I just had to make sure I took care of the tires as well. So maybe made a little bit of contact with Razor near the end there. We'll have to look at it a little bit, but I think it was all wheel racing, and kudos to him for pulling out with those hard tires for 22 laps.
Yeah, it was interesting to see how many different strategies they are. So did you feel like you had the best strategy, or did things just kind of fall your way?
Actually, I believe I did have a pretty good strategy out there. I had to stretch my mediums out during my second stint, and I knew there was racing Technic speed or something like that, and I knew he had done the reverse strategy. So I figured if he went on softs and I went on mediums, he would have to go on mediums on the later end. I didn't have to race him in the end because I got him through the pit strategies, but my tires were good for another couple laps, so I was easily able to continue.
All right, well, really great showing tonight. Congrats on the P3. We're going to try to get Shadow MX in here, and thank you for coming and talking with us.
All right, thank you, boys. Thank you for the broadcast. Great race.
Hey, man, great job. Have a good night.
All right, let's talk to our Mexican driver, Shadow MX. Hey, P2, driver of the day. Congratulations.
Hey, thanks a lot. It was a very difficult race. I started P11 because my last run got invalidated in the last turn, and make up some positions. In the first lap I got punted, so I was like last at one point, but the safety car really helped a lot, and the two soft runs that I did were pretty good, so I'm happy with the result.
Yeah, man, that was a great drive. We thought that you had a chance to win it there just off of penalties. You were super close. But yeah, definitely a great strategy call. Going in early on the softs and just getting the fresher set and trying to keep pacey.
Yeah, last lap I wanted to go for it, but my tires were so hot, so I almost spun and lost basically all the time there, but I'm still happy with the P2 result, and yeah, looking forward to the next race.
So your last stop on the soft seemed like a little bit of a gamble, but it seemed like you knew exactly what you're doing, didn't you?
Yeah, I was thinking about going to the hards, but by seeing the Aston Martin and Raptor, their pace wasn't exactly that quick, so I went for the two-stop on the softs, and it worked pretty well. I tried to keep it without penalties, but got a warning there on the second soft run and lost the win there.
All good. Still, great race from you, man. Congratulations. Fastest lap and P2. Some awesome points for you.
Thanks. Tim.
See if we can get our race winner, Odan, here.
Nice, Shadow. Thank you, man. Good job.
All right, thanks, man. You have a good night. Great job.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
All right, hopefully we're saying it right. We've been saying Odan. Is that how we pronounce it?
Something like that.
Well, we got a win tonight. How'd that feel?
Pretty great, actually, after yesterday. So,
So yeah, everyone saw you spin off yesterday. But today you definitely closed it out. Started off strong, closed it out strong. So how was the strategy for you? What you rode the hards out really long, so
yeah, I drove them for 22 laps. Basically, I just joined a Grand Prix to see how long they would last, and it's at 23 laps, so I just went for it.
all right, that's fair. I like it.
Good research. I like it. So I will say the one thing that I'm really excited about this league is the amount of diversity we have. We have a Canadian in P3, a Mexican in P2, and a Brazilian driver in P1. Very different styles, very different backgrounds, but at the end of the day, all quick racers, and you guys kept it really clean, and really appreciate you guys being here.
Thank you.
So is this
Alright.
something we're going to see week to week? If you end up in a full-time seat over here, we're going to be trying to win every single week?
Not quite sure. Not gonna have time for, well, pretty much every weekend from now on. So I don't think I'm gonna.
There's going to be a lot of teams. A lot of teams really excited to have you fill in when you can. So we appreciate you being here tonight. Really great race, really good pace, and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. And that's going to wrap it up for the Circuit of the Americas, round 2 of the Zoom Racing League, Division 2. Right after this, we've got Division 1 coming up in about 25 minutes, so be sure just to stay on the stream, and that's going to pop up here real soon. Big thanks to Rebus for hopping out. I think this is the first time I've gotten to spectate a race with him. I'm not too sure.
Oh, who knows? There's been so many
I don't know.
We've been in the same races together, so but yeah, it was a lot of
Alright.
fun. You're really easy to work with, and I had a good time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. All right. So yeah, good night, everybody. Make sure to stick around for the D1 race. Hopefully it's going to be just as exciting as this one.